All right. Welcome in. My name is Patrice Miller, the Affluent CFO and AI Alchemist. If you are new to me, hello. If you are not, welcome back. It's always a pleasure to see you. I am so excited to talk to you today. We're going to be talking about several things, but what we want to start with is the fact that we need to be real about the fact that emotions do not pay bills, okay? It's strategy that helps us pay the bills. But if you're like most founders, these emotions sneak into your business every day. A bad sales call makes you slash your prices, right? Guilty of that, right? Or maybe a competitor is launching something new and suddenly you're scrambling to copy that because you see that they're getting a little bit of momentum. Finally, a slow month makes you panic and overcommit to things that don't even align with your bigger plan because you just need to have some money hit that account. Ask me how I know. Now, what I'm going to share with you is that this is not weakness, but it is human. And here's the problem with that. When emotions run your business, chaos also runs your business. And we obviously do not want to run chaotic businesses. So this is what we need to really do. In this video, we're going to focus on making that shift from reaction to strategy. So essentially what I'm going to do is show you how real CEOs make decisions using tools like numbers and systems that keep them grounded. And you'll also see how AI dashboards can help you do the same, even if you've never felt like a numbers person or math isn't thing. Now, the goal is not to shut down your feelings, but it is to stop letting them dictate your strategy. Because when you lead with data and discipline, your emotions can finally take their rightful place in the background as the fuel, as opposed to being the steering wheel for your business. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. So what tools are we actually going to use and what does this mean? So I like to define tools by saying they're not shiny software subscriptions that never get used, but they are simple, non-negotiable systems that create stability. For instance, you've got pricing models that reflect your actual costs and margins, not just a number that you made up because it felt right. You have forecasting as our tool, which shows us what's coming up for the next month. So it's future casting. It's helping us identify and understand what's going to be happening based on historical data and not what just happened last month, but what is giving us a full running holistic picture of our business. And then finally, we need to do cash flow checks that prevent surprise bills from wrecking you. All right. Because if you do not have cash flow in your business, you do not have a business, you have a hobby. And we are not about making expensive hobbies out here. So this is what we're going to do. These are not optional. Those three tools are not optional. They are the infrastructure of leadership. Without them, your emotions will always win. And since you can't really focus on doing things emotionally, it sounds to me like you will always be behind the 8 ball. And we don't want that for you. Alrighty. Now, in the absence of clarity, feelings will fill the gap. And that is why it's so important for us to get clarity on our numbers. And this is where AI can kind of come in and help us. Now, the new wave, of AI tools doesn't just hold the numbers. It interprets them. So essentially what you can do is connect your accounting data or a dashboard and ask it things like, what happens if I raise my prices by 15%? Or what happens if I take double profit this year? Or how much cushion do I have if I have clients who pay late, right? So we want to be able to understand what's going on and be able to project what's going to happen in our business. And quite honestly, we want everything to be as predictable as possible because there is a difference between running a business by gut reactions and then running it like a strategist. And as a CEO, you need to be acting like a strategist at all times. Here's how to see your business through 5 different lenses. Real CEOs do not evaluate their business through emotion, but they do evaluate it through various lenses, and these are structured ways of seeing reality. And here are the 5 top ones that we talk about. So we've got our revenue lens, which means what's really coming in and what's going out of the business. Is it consistent? Is it seasonal? Is it unpredictable? And if the answer to that question, AI can help you by mapping patterns, showing peak months, and then projecting what's ahead based on history. Like I just mentioned before, we've got a profit lens. So after all of our expenses, what's left? Which offers are worth scaling and which drain your resources and may ultimately need to just be sunset. All right. So AI can help you separate recurring versus one-time expenses, and it helps you identify the most profitable offers that you had, while also showing you where you can lose your margin. So again, if you're putting your time and energy and money into something that's not really giving you that return on investment, we need to just go ahead and kill it because it's taking away from you as opposed to supporting your business growth. Okay. We've got the cash flow lens. So we need to ask ourselves, do we have enough money moving in and out of the business, through all of our accounts to remain stable during the month? Meaning, can you make sure that we meet all of our financial obligations, our payroll, our operating expenses, et cetera, and still have money left over to run the business in the event that there's an emergency? So AI scenarios can do things like help you understand what happens if your payroll is delayed, or what if you are the type of gal or guy that likes to do launches and it's pushed back for whatever reason. This is going to give you foresight and not just hindsight. And we need both of those, like I said, for a holistic picture. Number 4, we've got our capacity lens. So obviously, personally, do you have the bandwidth to do what it is you need to do? But from a team perspective, can your systems or your team handle that growth? And are you just one client away from burnout? Because I can tell you what, been there, done that as well. And then it's not fun. And it takes a long time to get back into the groove of things. So if you're feeling that pull, make sure you take some time away and really evaluate what's going on in the business. Evaluate how you can bring someone in to help you so that you're not running on fumes or burning the candle at both ends, because that does not work, especially not long term. So what we can do with AI is analyze our workloads. We can look at delivery timelines and then also the cost per team to show where you're nearing a break-even point. If your folks, your employers, your contractors, etc., are not at least giving you a 3x return on investment, then something needs to change. They should be bringing you in 3 times worth of business, support, project management skills, execution skills, operation skills, etc. 3 times what you're paying them. So keep that in mind. So here's some examples of chaos when these tools are missing. And I want to give you concrete examples of what it looks like when these emotions are left unchecked. So here's an example. A founder slashes their prices out of fear because 2 clients say no without realizing their margin was already razor thin. Or maybe a business hires 3 people at once because the CEO was overwhelmed, only to lay them off 6 months later because the numbers didn't support it. So before we think about going on this hiring spree, we need to make sure we have at a minimum 3 to 6 months worth of money or income in our bank accounts to pay for their salaries. If not, it's just not the time quite yet. Or you might need to think about doing something that's part-time or working with contractors to help augment your staff, but not at the rate as a salaried employee would be, okay? So that's something you could do. Or maybe a coaching company has poured $20,000 into ads because they felt the pressure to scale, but cash flow wasn't ready and then the payroll fell short the next month. I don't know if you know this, but missing a payroll is so devastating to so many people. Not only do you feel bad because you weren't able to do what needed to be done, but you're impacting the lives of other people and it's just not there. So payroll is something that's so huge. So we want to make sure that we always are meeting our payroll obligations. And the final example is a product-based founder who sees a dip in their sales. They panic and then they invest in a brand new product line. Now they're doing this without even realizing that the original one was still profitable, but it wasn't marketed properly. So what needs to happen is we need to do a holistic viewpoint or vantage point of our business to see what's happening. Is it the marketing? Is it the content? Is it the copy that's not getting us to where we need to be? Is it our pricing structure? Is it our fulfillment? Is it the fact that we either have too many, cooks in the kitchen or not enough cooks in the kitchen to help support that client experience? So we need to understand what those things are and how to fix that. And so if any of these things are something that, rings familiar to you, it's not a failure. And I just want you to understand that many entrepreneurs have experienced this. But it is a failure of the system or a lack thereof. And we want to make sure that we have these systems so that when it comes to building, when it comes to teaching, when it comes to hiring or onboarding, other people understand quickly how to do what you do and you can get them ramped up and profitable, like I said, by 3x sooner rather than later. Now that we've talked about that, we're going to move into our dashboards, and there are dashboards that support these tools. And we've got things like pricing models, so AI tools like LivePlan, or we've got LiveFlow, or we've got what's called Geocon. There are a ton of things that you can use, forecasting. So there's an application called Finmark, which uses AI to project runway. Project runway, excuse me. Good grief, y'all. I was watching the show. Christian Siriano was on. Growth and then hiring timelines. So you can see when the cash is going to run out and you can plan for it. So that allows you to also understand when it's safe to scale or when we might need to pull back because we don't have enough liquidity or cash flow in the business. And that brings us to cash flow. Now, Bricks models the best and worst case scenarios. For example, what if sales are flat for 2 months? You can see exactly how long you can sustain operations. So again, Bricks, BRIXX, that's another application you can use to track this information. Profit tracking is super important. There's an app called SYFT, SYFT, that visualizes where you're overspending, and it offers that are going to deliver the highest returns to you. So that's also a really invaluable tool. And then finally, we've got capacity. So some AI tools now measure workloads, job casting, inventory, all those things. And when your delivery model will break under growth. That way, you can hire based on projections as opposed to panic. So I would highly recommend you do your due diligence and your research to find out which types of applications would work in your business if that's something that applies to you. Because even general AI platforms like ChatGPT or Claude or Anthropic is Claude, or Perplexity, or Grok or DeepSeek or any of the other millions of large language models out here, you can use those things to find this information. You can ask it something as simple as, which service line was the least profitable last year? You drop in your profit and loss statement and it'll pull the information right up for you. You can also ask it things like, where are my expenses trending upwards? So am I spending too much money on product, on services? Am I spending too much money on payroll? Am I spending too much money on duplicative software expenses or applications that I'm not even using, right? So you want to use this information to be able to determine that. You also want to ask yourself things like, if I adjust my budget and I increase my ad spend by $10,000 per se, what will that do to my business? What will that do to my cash flow and liquidity? What will that do to my profit and loss statement, which trickles into my balance sheet? So you need to be asking yourself these questions all the time. And the point isn't to just focus on the tool itself. It's the clarity that you're going to get from leveraging the tool. And here's why these are not optional. Sometimes founders, they treat financial tools like something to worry about once they're big enough or they've made enough money. But the thing is that kind of mindset keeps you small. You don't want to wait to check your health until you're sick, right? You go to the doctor, you make sure everything is copacetic, you get your annual, exams, and you go and you get your cleanings at the dentist and all the other things. So you need to be doing that for your business as well and making sure that your business is healthy throughout the year. And you can do that by creating systems. And systems are how you lead. They keep you from doing things like underpricing out of fear, overspending out of excitement, or even overhiring out of exhaustion. Because that's a real problem in and of itself too. I've dealt with plenty of founders who have hired too quickly and were slow to fire or release these folks to their destinies. And they ended up suffering because of it. So we want to make sure that that's not something that we do. Because here's the truth. These emotions are always going to be there. You'll always have moments of stress, fear, or excitement. But when you have systems and AI-powered dashboards, you don't have to make decisions from those places, meaning from places of fear, stress, or excitement. You can make them based on the fact that you have accurate real-time data that's going to help you make decisions to drive your business. What these things do is give you a pause button. They give you context. They make sure that every choice is filtered through numbers before it leaves your mouth. We're not guessing. We're not closing our eyes and pointing to a number on the bank account and saying that's what it is. You're actually leveraging information and data and analytics to create this information and to follow these processes and procedures. The final thing I want to talk to you is about really shifting how you look at your profit when you're building these systems. When you stop letting your emotions run your business, you really start building power. And as we talked about before, power is clarity. Knowing exactly where you stand is so invaluable, okay? Profit is the outcome of using that clarity to make smarter choices and decisions. And those systems is what gives you both smarter choices or the ability to make smarter choices in that clarity that you're looking for. And then when you finally add AI to the mix, you multiply your advantage exponentially. You can do things like run scenarios before making commitments. You can understand what your business might sell for and valuation if you're deciding that you want to do that in the near future. You can catch opportunities faster because they're not clouded by doubt. You're essentially giving yourself the power to make informed decisions, and that's what every CEO needs to have. Okay. And this is what separates those founders who hustle endlessly from CEOs who are scaling sustainably and who are ultimately selling their businesses profitably. Your emotions are like the weather. They will always change, but your systems are the infrastructure. They are the roads, they are the buildings, they are the power grid. And they don't shift with every storm. They're supposed to hold steady. AI is like the forecast. It shows you what's coming so you can prepare as opposed to panic. So here's my final thought. Again, you're always going to have these emotions. You're human and your emotions are not the enemy, but they are signals. Signals shouldn't drive the car. Strategy should drive the car or the well-oiled machine. And when you bring in tools, systems, and AI dashboards, you stop reacting. Instead, you start leading. You stop being tossed around by every mood or market shift, and you start making deliberate moves that align with your vision. And that's what real leadership looks like. Emotions don't pay the bills. Strategy pays the bills. And AI gives you the clarity to choose strategy every time. We're at the end, ladies and gentlemen. Folks, I appreciate you. If this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, and you see the power of leading with systems, I'd love for you to share this with another founder, business bestie, entrepreneur, parallelpreneur, gig worker, whatever you desire, whomever you desire to share this with. I'd love for you to share this with someone who needs it. Okay. Now, we're going to continue to give this information to you. We're going to create templates. We're going to give you all the details and all the insider information you need to make sure that you're building sustainable, scalable, saleable businesses by leveraging artificial intelligence. This is also for my beautiful corporate change makers, by the way. If you are looking to up-level yourself in the corporate world, we are also focused on helping you do that as well. So what I'd love for you to do is join me at themifachallenge.com, where you can find out more about how to do this for your own business. Until next time, take care. It's been such a pleasure. Again, my name is Patrice Malloy. I am the Affluent CFO, and we will talk soon. tuned.